deep in the heart of the North American wilderness, where the trees stand tall and silent, a terrifying legend whispers on the wind. It's a story of an insatiable hunger, a creature born from desperation and darkness. This is the tale of the Wendigo. Have you ever felt a sudden, unexplainable chill in the woods? Or heard a voice that sounds just a little too familiar, calling your name from the shadows? If so, you might have been closer to this ancient evil than you realize. The Wendigo is more than just a campfire story. It's a powerful cautionary tale rooted in the traditions of Algonquin-speaking peoples. The legend speaks of a malevolent spirit that can possess humans. The most common path to becoming a Wendigo is through acts of desperation in the harsh, unforgiving winters of the North. When starvation pushes a person to the brink, to the ultimate taboo, the spirit finds its opening. It seizes the soul, twisting the human form into something gaunt, monstrous, and eternally hungry. But what does a Wendigo look like? Accounts vary, but they all paint a terrifying picture. It's often described as a naturally tall and emaciated, with skin stretched tight over its bones, giving it a skeletal appearance. Its eyes are said to be sunken deep into their sockets, glowing with a malevolent light. Some stories say it has long, sharp claws and jagged teeth, while others describe it as having a deer-like skull for a head. Its most unsettling feature, however, is its stench, the smell of death and decay, a scent that precedes its arrival and lingers long after it's gone. The psychological terror of a Wendigo encounter is just as potent as the physical threat. This creature is a master of mimicry. It can perfectly replicate the voice of a loved one, a cry for help, or a baby's whimper, luring unsuspecting victims deeper into the woods, away from the safety of civilization. Imagine being lost, cold, and hearing your friend calling for you, only to find yourself face to face with this nightmare. It preys on your compassion, your fear, and your isolation. The feeling of being watched, of knowing something is stalking you just beyond the tree line, is a torment all its own. Let's dive into one of the most famous accounts, the story of Jack Fiddler. He was an OG Cree shaman from Sandy Lake First Nation in northern Ontario, known as a powerful medicine man and a Wendigo hunter. In the early 20th century, Fiddler claimed to have defeated at least 14 Wendigos in his lifetime. To him and his community, the Wendigo wasn't a myth. It was a very real threat. He believed that once a person was fully possessed by the Wendigo spirit, they were beyond saving. The only course of action was a merciful end to prevent them from harming others. This wasn't seen as murder, but as a necessary act to protect the community. Fiddler's methods were rooted in spiritual practice. He would confront the afflicted individual, often in a ceremonial setting. His belief was that the human soul was trapped, and the only way to release it and stop the monster was to end the physical body. Tragically, Canadian authorities at the time didn't understand these cultural beliefs. In 1907, Jack and his brother Joseph were arrested and charged with murder. Jack Fiddler, an old man who had dedicated his life to protecting his people from a supernatural evil, ended his own life before he could be brought to trial, unable to comprehend why he was being punished for doing what he believed was right. His story highlights the clash between traditional beliefs and modern law, but it also underscores the deep-seated reality of the Wendigo in the minds of those who live in the northern forests. For them, this isn't folklore. It's a part of their history and their reality. So what happens when you're the one being hunted? Let's imagine a scenario. You're on a solo camping trip deep in the backcountry. Night falls and the temperature plummets. A strange unease settles over you. The woods, which felt peaceful during the day, now feel menacing. You hear a branch snap nearby. Probably just an animal, you tell yourself. Then you hear it a soft whisper, sounding like your own name on the wind. You freeze. The voice comes again, closer this time, sounding exactly like a family member you left back home. Every instinct screams that it's a trap, but the sound is so convincing. This is the Wendigo's game, that it wants to sow panic and confusion. Survival guides for this kind of encounter, passed down through oral tradition, emphasize one thing above all: do not give in to fear. Never answer the voice. Never follow it. Stay near your fire, because the Wendigo is said to fear flames. The light and heat are symbols of life and community, things the creature has lost. But fire alone might not be enough. The Wendigo is relentless. It will circle your camp, its ghostly form darting between the trees. You might catch glimpses of its gaunt frame, its glowing eyes watching you. The psychological pressure is immense. It wants you to run. If you run, you're lost. You'll become exhausted, disoriented, and an easy meal. Your only hope is to stand your ground until sunrise. The creature is a being of darkness and winter. Daylight is its enemy. Some legends say that silver can harm a Wendigo, similar to werewolves. A silver bullet, a silver knife, or even a silver charm might offer some protection. Another powerful tool is the Anasazi symbol, a specific sigil that is said to ward off this evil spirit. Drawing it on trees around your campsite or carrying it with you is believed to create a protective barrier. But these are desperate measures in a desperate situation. The best defense is to never be in that situation at all. Heed the warnings of the wilderness. If a place feels wrong, if the air feels heavy with dread, leave. Don't push your luck. Modern accounts of Wendigo encounters continue to surface. Hikers and hunters share stories on forums and social media, describing eerie voices, unexplainable feelings of being stalked, and fleeting glimpses of impossibly thin, tall figures in the woods. One popular story tells of a hunter who, while alone in his tree stand, began hearing his daughter's voice calling for him from the forest floor. He knew his daughter was hundreds of miles away. Terrified, he stayed put until dawn. Hearing the voice circled him for hours. When he finally climbed down, he found strange, elongated tracks in the snow that led away from his stand. Are these stories real? Or are they the product of isolation, fear, and the power of suggestion playing tricks on the mind in a primal environment? The forest at night can be a terrifying place. The wind can sound like voices, and shadows can look like monsters. But the consistency of these tales, stretching back centuries and across vast geographical areas, is hard to ignore. The Wendigo is more than just a monster. It's a symbol. It's a warning against greed, selfishness, and isolation. It represents the darkness that can consume a person when they lose their connection to community and humanity. In a world that often encourages individual gain above all else, the legend of the Wendigo reminds us of the importance of working together, of supporting one another, and of never letting the hunger for more consume our souls. So the next time you venture into the deep woods, remember the stories. Listen to the silence between the sounds. And if you hear a familiar voice calling your name from the darkness, don't answer. Just keep your fire burning bright and wait for the dawn. Thanks for watching. If you found this dive into the legend of the Wendigo fascinating, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the world's most mysterious legends. Stay safe out there